Won't you take me back to Tennessee?
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest info about hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. This episode is brought to you by GSM Outdoors, whose vision is to preserve the sportsman's legacy, fuel innovation, and enable the next generation of outdoor enthusiasts. Think outside. That's where you'll find us. Now, make welcome your host, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We're glad you're tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We got a fun show lined up for you today. It's all about the new seasons that are coming our way.
Yes, post-commission meeting, and all the dust is settled, and we're going to find out what all changes there are going to be, if any.
Yeah, if any. We'll see. Yeah. A little season preview for next year. It's a good time to be out fishing right now, and I wanted to highlight...
Speaking of fishing.
Yeah, a giveaway. So the GSM Outdoors giveaway for this month is an awesome finesse bass fishing package. I got a few of the baits here with me. We got some big bite baits. We got some robo worms, some Yamamoto baits, but a lot of cool stuff from GSM Outdoors. And then a Phoenix rod. This rod is a finesse rod, but man, it doesn't have a cork handle or any kind of handle. You feel that bite all the way through the shaft or through the handle, so that's pretty cool.
Right to the core.
Yeah, so anyway, this is the package that you can win, and you do that by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting on this show, which was last week. So go check it out and keep following, keep sharing, keep liking. Get your name in the hat for this cool prize package. Thanks to GSM Outdoors, gsmoutdoors.com. You can check out all their brands right there on their page.
We appreciate their support.
We sure do. Who else do we appreciate, Don?
We appreciate our radio partners, and one in particular, WZYX, our flagship. They were the first to start carrying WildCast on Tennessee radio. And we met with Chris Wiseman, quite a few years ago now, thinking back. But anyway, he was kind enough to give WildCast a spin on their radio station in Cowan, Tennessee. And I just talked to him again this morning, and they're going to start airing the WildCast Extras, which is the daily version, a 5-minute condensed version of what you'll hear in the full show.
Cool.
But he's going to start that on their air very soon. But you can see or hear WildCast at 6 a.m. on Saturday and again at noon on Saturdays. So he said, we'll get the guys going to the lake, and then we'll get the guys coming back from the lake at noon. So anyway, that's we appreciate WZYX and all our other radio partners across the state.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate those partners. Appreciate our TV partners out there, too, running the show. Go watch us on YouTube. Go watch us on Carbon TV. We're now hosted on Spotify, so if you're looking for us on the podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, all the big ones, we're out there. Just find us and listen and watch. And thank you guys for tuning in. I mentioned bass fishing and fishing. It's that time of year, but this time of year we're looking towards the next hunting season and setting those regulations and things like that. So that's why we have Joe Benedict, our chief of wildlife and forestry, with us today, and our assistant chief, Wally Akins. He's assistant chief of habitat side. Right? Got to get that right. But appreciate you guys being with us.
Yes, very glad to be here.
Yeah, great to be here again.
Yeah, so we're going to dive in and just kind of cover some of the changes and some of the things that happened during the commission meeting and where we're headed for the next season and kind of a what's new show today. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in. And when we go to a commission meeting, you never know what could happen, right? You never know what might change or what.
Somebody can get up from the public and say something. Express an opinion, which is perfectly fine. We invite that at every meeting, but it can change the temper of the whole room. It's amazing how much influence that the public has, in the opinions and all of the commission members. And to you guys' credit, you guys sort through all the comments that come in that we solicit. We say, hey, come on, let us know what you're thinking. To let it, let's help us read the room here. And then you guys go through all that and then come up with your recommendations based on that. So,
yeah, Don, that's right. And so thanks for having us again. Appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.
And welcome to all the listeners out there, hunters, fishermen, men and women, and children. I did want to start by thanking the public, members of the public that provided comments both before and then in between the commission meetings that occurred in March and April. We really, one of the main things that we look for in those comments is, for me, have my staff, have myself, have the directors, other folks that have looked at their recommendations, have we missed something?
Yeah.
That we have staff that hunt and fish, do all these things, have a long experience with hunting and fishing regulations across the country. But did we miss anything that's Tennessee specific? And so a lot of times we'll hear something from a member of the public and we'll go back and re-examine that. And then sometimes we make those changes. So thank you to those folks that have provided that input year after year.
Yes.
In many cases.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about some of the changes that can happen, but there was something unique about this meeting, right?
Yeah, this was kind of a round robin in that there were a lot of amendments that got tossed out there, discussed, and but it all came back to really handing the wildlife division a gold star, because I mean what you guys recommended was exactly what ended up going to print in the next guide. So
yeah, this is it was a pretty. We had 5 new commissioners, 4 if you count Commissioner Cox that stayed on for a couple meetings. This is the first time in a long time where there were no amendments from the commission. And like you said, they went back round and round. We helped educate new commissioners. There's a lot of interest. They're passionate. They do this for free.
Yeah.
I know Commissioner Saltzman one time said, I'll take a pay cut in half, and half a zero is still zero. And so me personally, and appreciate their input and questions about how things work and what does this mean.
Yeah.
And I think you saw that with some of the straight-walled cartridge discussion that we had and answers that I provided the second day. Mark and Wally provided them the first day. And so it was a really neat season-setting process. And you're right, we came all the way back to what the agency recommended, which speaks to the strength. One of the things we do internally, as I mentioned, we review the comments in between to make sure we got everything right, we're not missing anything. We also have a review panel of all the executive staff, the attorneys, general counsel, and others that kind of poke holes in our stuff and ask questions. And so we really have a good process in the agency to look at that before we bring it to the public and the commission.
Yeah, awesome. Good information. So let's jump in and talk about some of the what's new, some of the things that are going to be coming our way. And one of the bigger things was a license change, some major license changes there. And you're going to see all this in the hunting guide. So I'll show you a quick peek. This is last year's. This is the one that we're operating out of now. It's still going to be a combo guide, but will be laid out very similar, so everybody's familiar with it. But what's new for this year is some major license changes. And Joe, you were going to touch on those for us, but I think we're making it a little simpler and offering some other options as far as supplementals versus the weapon type. But it's species supplementals now, and but like I said, making it simpler. And also providing opportunities on both non-resident and resident side.
Right.
Similar licenses. So
yeah, that's right. So there's 3 kind of points I think from the agency and commission side that I wanted to share. First of all, that we expect these final approvals for these in the next month or so, and they'll be effective July 1st, 2025. So the 3 parts are, we really want to simplify licenses. Over time, we've added licenses as opportunity came available, and so we have this sort of a hodgepodge of things. And so licensing division, Susie and her staff and my staff and the fishery staff look through all these things. How can we make this simple? There's another disparity between resident and non-resident licenses. We might have a certain kind of resident license, but there's no non-resident that's compatible. So you're trying to explain folks on the phone, my friend told me to get this license, but I can't. So we did some of that work and also adjusting the prices for out-of-state. And then as folks have seen some of the commission meetings, this was in the December commission meeting when this rule was passed, the license rule.
Right.
We adjusted prices based on the CPI, so the Consumer Price Index. Tennessee statute allows us as an agency, or the commission really, to raise licenses not beyond the CPI increase. And so we raised licenses about 10 years ago. And so we had a little bit of, CPI to use there. Our Deputy Director, Frank Fiss, used the number 28%, and that was an average of all the different licenses we used. So that was the max we were allowed. If we created a new license, there was no max because it was a brand new one. So,
right.
So that's kind of the background of that. Again, simplify and then look at the CPI adjustments.
And one thing I wanted to mention that you kind of touched on there, but these meetings that happen and all these discussions that happen, you can go back and watch those on our YouTube channel. All the commission meetings are recorded. They're live streamed, so you can watch them live, or you can go back and watch them. So you can see all these discussions and see how this stuff all played out and kind of how these decisions were made. Plus, on our website, tnwildlife.org, there's a banner there that you can click and see all these new proposed, license prices. So when in July 1, when these go into effect, those are the prices that you'll be seeing. So just wanted to clear that up and let people know how to find those.
Jason, let me just add that the meetings for the rule change for the license prices were in August. It was a preview, and then December of 2024.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. All right. So I think that's all on licenses. Let's move on to deer and turkey. So there was some big changes made last year with deer and turkey and some of the adaptive harvest management and our units and things like that. But now, this year, no change, right?
That's right. No changes to deer and turkey this year. First time in a very long time that either species, or both species, I guess you could say, have not had changes. So, the adaptive harvest management process, I won't go into that. It's very detailed. But essentially, we're using some models. We've got harvest data. We've got biological data for deer and turkeys. We know what their population growth might be with some turkey surveys and things. We've used a model to create predictions based on what the package we might select. And so then we set those seasons. And then usually after about 3 years, those models will begin to settle. The real benefit of AHM is you're learning about how the population responds to hunting regulations. And if we change the regulations every year, the population hasn't had a chance to change based on those regulations, including hunter behavior. Hunters may do more or less hunting based on bag limits or season, things like that. So we're excited about the commissions that supported us through that whole effort, as well as the directors and the entire agency. And so we're kind of in that waiting and seeing period, at least for deer and turkeys for now.
Yeah. I know there was a few questions about the turkey season, and we thought maybe it might change, but no change. So it's good. It's good to set those and let them ride for a little while and see how it affects the population and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of hunters are excited about it. I think from the feedback I've heard this year, there's been some decent turkey harvests. People are having a good time. They saw birds, even though it's a little bit later than what it used to be. So I think people are kind of settling into that 2 week later period. Me and my son saw birds every time we've been out. So
I'll tell you a quick story. On Saturday, I was doing some work around the house, and it was rumbling thunder in the distance, and there ended up being two birds behind my house and one on the other side, and I ended up harvesting my second bird of the year, a nice bird. I guess it was Sunday afternoon. So there are birds out there gobbling right now, and they came to the call like it was opening day. It was fun.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so that's deer and turkey. So the next update is bear hunting. So there was a change there, but very slight change.
Sure.
Go ahead, Wally.
We have different bear hunt zones in East Tennessee and one on the Cumberland Plateau, and saw an opportunity to add some more days in the month of October when bears might be more likely to be out and about, be more susceptible to hunters. So give hunters an additional opportunity to harvest some more bears. And these were not new days, but these were just days that were in December that we moved to October.
So we just shifted it to a better time of year to harvest and
yes,
more opportunity there. So
sure,
awesome.
Yeah.
So a slight change there, not a very big deal. All right, the next thing was blaze pink. So you gonna be wearing pink now out in the woods, Joe?
You certainly can.
Well, are you gonna wear pink?
Well, my wife will.
Okay.
Certainly, a lot of ladies are happy about this regulation change. And our change on our WMAs was to be consistent with what the state law says. They Tennessee Code annotated change to allow blaze pink as an acceptable color when hunting. So we changed our WMA proclamation to mirror that.
So it's the same as what it's always been, the blaze orange, 500 square inches, head and chest, I think, and back. But as long as your pink matches that amount of orange, you're good to go. Fluorescent pink.
You're right. I've seen the ladies smiling about that blaze pink. Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and it's not just for ladies. If there's guys out there that can represent the pink very well, go ahead. But being a big orange state, I'm going to stick with the orange.
Well, you've got Breast Cancer Awareness Month too that may play into that. So
that's kind of what brought the idea around, in my mind anyway. Yep. We started doing that. So
yeah, that's cool. Maybe we can have some specialty pink vest for that year.
Yeah,
for that time of year.
exactly.
There we go.
All right. So some of the bigger things that I think about, well, licenses is big, but just more opportunities coming around this year. There's a couple of new PHAs and WMA opportunities and things like that. So touch on that one, Wally.
Yeah, this year we did get to add 2 public hunting areas. These are new areas, and they are owned by partner agencies, one by Tennessee State Parks and the other by Tennessee Division of Forestry. The state park property is Scottsdale Centennial Wilderness. It's in Van Buren and White County, and it's sandwiched right in the middle of Bridgestone Firestone WMA. A lot of steep terrain. It's in the Caney Fork River Gorge, but a lot of opportunity for hunters to really get out and enjoy that. We have a lot of users to that area around those counties and that WMA itself. So this is just added opportunity for hunters to get out. The second place that we were able to add this year was in Fayette County, around 5,500 acres of, it was a state forest, Wolf River State Forest, just north of our Wolf River Wildlife Management Area there. So both of these areas mirror each other's hunting regulations as best we could. There was a few exceptions based on the partner request, but for the most part, Wolf River State Forest has the same hunting regulations as Wolf River WMA. Likewise, Scottsdale has the same regulations as Bridgestone.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I think it's awesome that we can, or it's a great thing when we can add opportunity, and work with our partner agencies that see the benefit there. And but yeah, that's great.
And I will say, I know the public is really excited about these places. We started hearing from the public when the word got out that there may be an opportunity to have some additional hunting lands there. So people are excited about it, I think, and looking forward to this coming season.
Yeah, awesome, very cool. All right, so as far as the WMAs, were there any WMA opportunities added, or was it just the Blaze Pink part there?
As far as our WMA regulations, we just went, as Joe spoke about, simplicity, consistency, trying to make, we're always looking at our WMA regulations. We have a lot. We have over 100 WMAs, many of which have slightly different regulations, and it can get very confusing. So we're all the time looking how we can make those more simple, more consistent on a statewide basis. So a couple regulations were changed that were related to orange. We had small game hunters were required to wear orange during big game seasons on a number of WMAs across the state, Region 1 to Region 4. So we decided, let's make that a statewide regulation. So that is for small game hunters to have to wear, or required to wear 500 square inches of blaze orange or pink when big game seasons are going on.
Makes sense.
If you're on a WMA, that WMA is open, same as statewide. You're out there squirrel hunting, but it's also muzzleload season. You need to have your orange on.
Yep.
The other,
that's just smart, I think.
It is erring on the side of safety, really. And the other one was for people big game hunting in a blind. That hunter still has to wear their 500 square inches of orange on their person, on their body. But if they're in that blind, an article of blaze orange or pink needs to be displayed on the outside of that blind. So hunters can see them from a distance, know that there's somebody in there. So Yep.
Good stuff. It's important to be safe, especially if you're out, hunting on a public land. You never know who might be out there. Multiple hunters, and it's definitely err on the side of caution.
For
and
sure.
safety. All right. So the last thing on our list for the what's new this next season, waterfowl. So there was a few changes in waterfowl. Update us there.
Sure enough. So just a reminder to the folks listening, they may or may not be duck hunters. The migratory bird seasons that we set are within a framework that's set by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and so we can pick dates and bag limits that are within those restrictions that they allow for us. And this year, the teal population is down at the continental scale or the national scale, and so there's no teal only day. So remember, we have a 5-day wood duck and teal season. We've had that forever. It starts on Saturday, ends on a Wednesday. In the last couple of years, maybe 6 or 8, we've had teal only days at the end because the teal populations were so high.
Okay.
They bumped down just a little bit, so we're not going to have those days this year, unfortunately. We're not a big teal harvest state per se, but there is opportunity, especially if we get the weather right.
Okay.
The second piece, northern pintail bag limits increased to 3. There's a whole big modeling process that's been going on at the national level with some university staff and some Fish and Wildlife Service partners for a number of years now. So that'll be, it's kind of an experimental season where we're looking for multiple years with a bag limit of 3, and then they're going to do some evaluation. So it may be 3 or 4 years in a row, but it may take longer than that to get those 3 years of a 3-bird bag limit to evaluate the season. And the last thing, there was some confusion between or within the federal frameworks where we're given a certain number of what's called exposure days for waterfowl, for geese in particular. And we have the youth days at the end of the season, and also these new military/veteran appreciation days. And so we weren't sure that those counted or did not count against our exposure days. So this year we kind of went back through and talked to our flyway representative, Dave Scott, and we were able to add some more days to goose season because they don't count against the
great.
The youth days and the veteran days don't count against those exposure days. So you'll see a little bit of a extra goose season is kind of at the end.
Okay. Awesome. Just as you were talking, I was thinking, so looking at the list here and things that we've covered, we're making there's better opportunity for bear because of some of the shifts in those dates. We had to take away some teal just because of national population, and it's out of our control on some of those things. And then increased goose, more pintails. That's awesome. But a lot of the changes that we're going to hear about or see in the guide will be just calendar shifts. So,
that's right.
Your opening days for deer and turkey and some of those will stay very similar. So if you want to go ahead and start planning and thinking ahead for the next season, now's the time to do that and just shift your dates in your calendar. I'm going to pull out my guide here, go in the WMA section. I want people to know that they can get out there and apply for the quota hunts, because now is the time to be thinking about that as we're preparing for the next year. So WMA big game quota hunt periods are June 11th through July 23rd. So those are important dates that are coming up very soon. So get your name in the hat for that. And there's other application periods and dates and things on the on page 80 of your current guide. So
there's a couple other pieces that we didn't touch on the licenses that I wanted to share.
Sure.
One thing is that we had some different youth requirements. And so we've made the youth license. It's really one license if you're 13 to 15, and we're making it a youth sportsman. So you don't need to buy WMA permits for various things. So that's a great
that is nice. That's
agglomeration. There's also a non-resident youth as well at a different price point. Another big piece that folks may be surprised if they haven't watched the commission meetings or stayed in touch is that we've moved away from a big game archery permit, a big game muzzleloader, big game gun, to a species specific. So one quick, and again, this is kind of simplify things and make it easier for people to understand what they need. And there's a second benefit here I'll talk about, but if you're a deer hunter and you hunt with archery, muzzleloader, and a gun, this current year, I guess, you'd have had to buy a hunting and fishing combo, a big game archery, a big game gun, and a big game muzzleloader. So those are $33 each. So you're buying 4 permits, really. Fast forward to after July 1st, you can buy a hunt fish combo and a deer supplemental permit. Yeah. And that's $42 for residents. And the same as all the species. So deer, bear, elk, turkeys. And so that simplifies things. If you're a deer hunter, you buy this one supplemental license, you can hunt deer, archery, muzzleloader, gun. And so that'll simplify things a lot for hunters, we think, and reduce the number of different licenses we have. Yeah. The other piece about the big game permit is we don't know if you're just a bear hunter and you buy the big game gun, we don't know that you're just a bear hunter. So we may send surveys to you that you don't really care to get. So moving to the species-based permits will allow us to know how many deer hunters there are this year.
Right,
turkey hunters. It's hard to get those numbers. And so this is a good way for us to be able to reach out specifically to hunters as we move forward. We do this annual survey. We've done 5 or 6 years now. I think we'll be in the 6th year. We call it the Deer and Turkey Harvest and Effort Survey. So one of the key pieces we need when we manage wildlife is what's the effort. If we shot 100 deer last year and this year we shot 50, be like, oh, the sky is falling. Well, if you had half the number of hunters, you'd say, well, there's nothing wrong. There's no change here. So
Right.
this effort survey is big, and having these species permits will allow us to target a group of folks to survey.
Yeah.
In that annual survey.
It's going to be a huge improvement in management too. Helping y'all manage.
I want to add too. There's only one WMA permit now.
You stole my thunder. I was going there
sorry.
next.
Sorry.
That's good. That's good. We're on the same page.
But as y'all know, we currently have 4 different WMA permits: big game, small game, waterfowl. So now it's hopefully simpler for the public just to know they need one WMA permit.
One permit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're trying to make it easier, more simple, and just let people get out there and enjoy the outdoors. So yeah.
Well, I think there's 2 more that you want to talk about, and I wanted to just make one other addition here. That the commission was interested. Members of the public shared this with them in a nighttime coyote hunting season, and folks that have listened to the show, they've watched the agency for a long time, they've been engaged, they've known this is going on for probably 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. Last year, the commission approved that season. There's now a nighttime coyote and bobcat hunting season with a different bag limit than during the day. But last year, there's no permit for that. July 1st, there will be a permit, and it's $21 for a resident, $42 for a non-resident. So that's another addition. They started with a free permit. Now we're moving into, because they knew the license package was coming. So they wanted folks to have that opportunity this last year.
And shotgun only.
Shotgun only, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. It's no single projectile. That's all in there. Yeah. You have something
So
else?
I just wanted to touch on, we do have a new OHV permit for North Cumberland WMA.
Yep.
This is a new permit we just added this year. Before the public could ride North Cumberland with a high impact user permit or a hunting license. So we really had no idea how many people were riding and how many trips they were making, how often they were coming. So now this permit lets us to dial in and see exactly how many users we have for that WMA, and the revenue, of course, will help us out with some of the road maintenance that's much needed up there.
Right.
So.
Awesome. All good stuff. I appreciate you guys being here with us today. This has been great. Getting everybody up to date and up to speed on what's coming, and people appreciate that, and they can prepare for the next year. So we're working on the guide right now. It's going to be coming out soon. It'll be out before August 1st. So that's when everything goes into effect. The license prices will go into effect July 1st, though. So make sure you keep that in mind. And also, I'm just double checking myself. I think I said single projectile. It's no single projectile on that coyote season. So check your guide. Check your guide.
Only.
Shotgun only.
Shotgun only. No single projectile.
You're right.
All right. There's a lot in here and a lot of good stuff in here. So always check your guide. Joe, Wally, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you guys do. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all do great work, and you got great team behind you that's doing work out there in the field every day. So appreciate them as well.
Now, if we can only endure the heat of the summer, we'll be ready for crisp fall days.
There you go. Be here before you know it.
That's right.
I'm already ready. All right. Well, this is Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org. And follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can invest in Tennessee's wildlife future by purchasing a license at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com. That's GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.